After years of paying my mother's bills, she called me one morning screaming, "If you loved me, you'd pay off your brother's mortgage too." I said no. She showed up at my job with signs calling me a selfish disgrace. I took a deep breath, walked outside, and handed her a court order cutting financial ties forever. Watching security escort her off the property was the closure I never knew I needed. I'm 43. I live in Fort Wayne, Indiana. I've worked my ass off since I was 15, starting in the back of a grocery store stocking shelves, working weekends while my friends were out chasing girls or sleeping in. Now I'm a senior operations manager at a shipping company. It's not flashy, but it pays good and I don't hate it. I grew up thinking I had to be the glue in my family. My mom made sure I believed that. She'd always say things like, "You're the only one I can count on," or "You're the man of the house now." She said that after my dad died when I was 16, he had a heart attack in the driveway. Dropped right there with a wrench in his hand, trying to fix the engine in the winter. After that, something in her snapped, and I think she decided she didn't want to carry anything ever again. Her name's Arlene. She's 66 now and acts like she's royalty. She hasn't worked since the year after Dad died. Said she was too broken to punch a clock. I get it, grief is real. But eventually, grief turns into excuses. And she never stopped making them. When I turned 21, I got my first real job with benefits. That same week she called me crying, saying she couldn't make rent. I paid it. Then I paid her phone bill. Then her electric. One thing led to another, and suddenly I was her personal ATM. She never said thank you, not really. It was always stuff like, "Well, you make more than I do," or "You wouldn't let your own mother go without, would you?" And my younger brother Marty? Let me tell you about that guy. Marty is 4 years younger than me. We were close when we were kids, but by the time we hit our teens, he'd figured out he didn't have to do anything as long as I did everything. He dropped out of Ivy Tech 2 semesters in, said college wasn't for him. Then he started bouncing between jobs, pizza places, gas stations, a call center gig that lasted 2 months. He got a DUI at 25, another at 31, and a third one that almost got him locked up. My mom still calls him my baby. Guess who paid for his legal bills? Me. Guess who helped him get a down payment on his house when the bank wouldn't lend to him? Me. Mom told me once, "You should help your brother, he's trying so hard." Trying? That man has never tried anything except my patience. All these years I've been paying Mom's bills while she sat in her recliner watching Judge Judy and posting cryptic crap on Facebook like, "Fake family will stab you in the back, real ones bleed for each other." I should have seen it coming. I should have stopped it sooner. But when you grow up being told you're responsible for everyone else, it gets in your bones. Last year, things started shifting. I met Jenna 2 years ago at a mutual friend's barbecue. She's a nurse, calm, smart, steady. She saw through all my stress. After a few months of dating, she started noticing things. "Why does your mom call every week asking for money?" she asked one night. "She just needs help sometimes." I mumbled. But it was more than sometimes. It was constant. One night, Jenna sat me down on the couch. She said, "You've paid for your mom's life. You paid for Marty's screw-ups. When's the last time you did something for you?" I couldn't answer, because I hadn't. That night, I looked over years of bank statements. Thousands and thousands gone. I even had to delay getting a new car because I sent Mom $1,200 for a root canal she never even got done. She used it to help Marty catch up on bills. The same Marty who buys new sneakers every 2 months and has tattoos he somehow finds money for. The next day, I called my mom and told her things were going to change. No more money. I'd help her budget, maybe find some local services. But I wasn't going to keep paying everything while she and Marty lived like kids on summer vacation. She went cold. Then she hung up. 2 days later, she called again. This time she was screaming. I could barely understand her. "If you really loved me," she said, "you'd help your brother pay off his mortgage. You make 6 figures and your brother's drowning." I couldn't believe what I was hearing. I told her no. She lost it. Full screaming fit. Said I was selfish. Said I was a disgrace. Said my father would be ashamed of me. That hurt. It cut deep. But something inside me snapped in a good way. I hung up and didn't pick up her next 10 calls. I thought that was the end of it. Then she showed up at my job. I was in the middle of a logistics meeting when my assistant poked her head in, looking nervous. There's someone outside. She says she's your mom." I felt my stomach drop. I stood up slowly, trying to stay calm. Walked to the front windows of the building and sure enough, there she was. Right outside the employee parking lot holding a damn sign. A homemade sign made out of cardboard and duct tape. It said, "My son is a selfish disgrace. He let his family starve while he gets rich." She was pacing back and forth on the sidewalk like a protester. Yelling. Not just yelling, screaming. "This is what a bad son looks like. I gave him life and he gave me nothing." A couple guys from the warehouse had their phones out filming. I saw my boss at the far end of the lobby with his arms crossed, clearly wondering what the hell was going on. I took a deep breath, told my assistant to call security, and walked outside. She saw me and raised the sign even higher. "You came out of your cave? Good. Maybe you can explain to everyone why you won't help your brother." I kept walking. No yelling. No arguing. I reached into my coat pocket and pulled out the envelope I'd been carrying for 3 weeks. "Here," I said, holding it out to her. She snatched it like she thought it was a check. But her face changed fast when she read the first page. It was a court order. Legal, signed, and filed. A financial disconnection order and a no-contact clause for workplace harassment. I'd spent almost $4,000 on legal fees. Worth every damn penny. What is this?" she muttered. "You're not allowed to contact me at work. You're not allowed to demand money from me anymore. All financial support has ended. Permanently. It's done, Mom." Her face went red. She crumpled the paper and threw it at me. "You ungrateful little bastard. I raised you." "No," I said quietly. "You used me." That's when security showed up, 2 big guys from our private firm. They didn't touch her, just asked her to leave the property. She screamed the whole way to her car. "He's a fraud. He lets his mother rot while he sits in his office like a king." The security guards stood there until she pulled away. One of them, an older guy named Jim, looked at me and said, "You all right, man?" I just nodded. But truth is, I felt more than all right. I felt something I hadn't felt in years. Peace. My phone blew up that night. Marty called. Left a voicemail calling me a traitor. My aunt texted me saying Mom was heartbroken and sick in bed. A few cousins unfriended me on Facebook. Fine. Let them. Because for the first time in my life, I wasn't carrying anyone. But it wasn't over. Not even close. 2 weeks passed. No calls. No texts. Not even a vague Facebook post from her. It was quiet. Too quiet. Jenna and I started breathing easier. I felt like I could actually start planning our wedding without checking my bank account every 10 minutes. We were looking at venues, talking about a small place up near Pokagon State Park. For the first time in my life, it felt like the future was mine. Then the letter came. It was addressed to me, but it came to my job. Again, despite the court order. No return address, just my name written in big block letters like a ransom note. I opened it right there at my desk. Inside was a single typed page. "Congratulations on cutting off your own blood. Just remember, when we're all gone, you'll be the one left standing with your money and no family. Hope it was worth it. A friend." There was a photo paperclip to the note. A photo of my mother sitting in what looked like a hospital room, holding a Bible, looking frail and sick, a feeding tube taped to her arm. Her eyes were red, like she'd been crying. The caption on the back of the photo? "She has stage 2 pancreatic cancer. But don't worry, she says she doesn't want your help." My hands started shaking. I didn't know if it was anger or guilt or both. I called the hospital listed on her bracelet in the photo. The woman on the line said they couldn't share patient info unless I was on the list. I wasn't. I told Jenna that night. She looked at me hard and said, "Even if it's real, is this how you find out? Through some anonymous guilt letter? Does that sound like a family that respects you?" She was right. But still, it twisted something inside me. Part of me wanted to drive straight to her house, walk in, and demand the truth. The other part, the bigger part, wanted to burn the letter and forget it ever showed up. But before I could decide what to do, something even worse happened. My credit score dropped by 73 points. I checked my accounts. One of my old cards, one I thought was closed, had a balance of over $5,000. All charged within 2 weeks. Jewelry stores, electronics, even a new mattress. It was in my name. I called the bank. They said the card had been reactivated over the phone. When I asked how, they told me someone had used the old security question, "What's your mother's maiden name?" I nearly dropped the phone. She'd done it. Or maybe Marty had. Either way, someone in that damn house used my identity. Again. I filed a fraud report. Called my lawyer. Sent copies of everything. This time, it wasn't just cutting them off, it was war. I decided to press charges. That same week, a sheriff's deputy knocked on my mom's door with a notice of investigation and a potential restraining order violation. And that's when everything blew up in public. The fallout came fast. My lawyer moved quick. Within a week, we had police reports filed, bank documents in order, and subpoenas ready to go. I gave them everything, the fake charges, the hospital letter, the photo, all of it. Turns out, the credit card theft wasn't just a one-time swipe. There were signs it had happened before. Small charges I'd missed over the years. Restaurant bills, Uber rides, online orders shipped to her house. Stuff I thought I'd just forgotten. But no, it was fraud. All of it. And it had gone back years. I felt sick. Sick because I'd let it go on. Sick because I'd told myself it was just helping family. But there was no helping them. Only feeding them. 2 weeks after the investigation started, I got a call from Detective Warren at the Fort Wayne PD. "We've spoken with your brother," he said. "What did he say?" "He says your mother gave him permission to use the card. That she said you were okay with it. He swears she told him it was their money." I laughed. A dry, hollow laugh. "She told him that because she believes it," I said. "She's always believed my money was our money." It got worse. She lied to the cops. Told them I gave her the credit card years ago for emergencies and never took it back. That I was just upset over a family disagreement and trying to punish her. But the cops weren't buying it anymore. Not with the pattern. Not with the documents. Not with the signed court order from before. 2 weeks later, they charged her with fraud. Charged Marty too, for using stolen financial info. The case wasn't huge, no one was going to prison. But it was public. It hit the local paper. Small blurb, page 6, but it was there. Mother, son charged in credit card fraud scheme against family member people knew. Her church friends, her neighbors, even her Facebook crew. The same ones who once called me heartless. They started turning. Fast. One day, out of curiosity, I checked her Facebook. It was still public. The last post was a photo of her sitting on the edge of her porch. Alone. No caption. Just her looking tired. It had 2 comments. One said, "You made your bed." The other just said, "Maybe he was right after all." I never replied. I never wrote her again. I did get one last message though. It came 2 months after the charges. From Marty. A voicemail. He sounded broken. "Bro, you win. You happy now? She's in the hospital again. And this time it's real. It's cancer. Real cancer. Stage 2. They don't think she's gonna beat it. You gonna come see her or not? She says she forgives you." I sat with that voicemail for a full day. Then I deleted it. Because here's the truth. I wasn't the one who needed forgiving. For 27 years, I was the bank, the fixer, the emotional punching bag. I gave them everything. And when I said no, they called me evil. When I stood up for myself, they stole from me. When I walked away, they tried to drag me down. My biggest mistake wasn't cutting them off. It was waiting so long to do it. Jenna and I got married in a small ceremony that fall. No drama. No debt. No guilt. Just peace. She asked me once during our honeymoon in Asheville, "Do you ever think about going back?" For closure. I looked at her and said, "I already got my closure." The day she was escorted off my job with a sign calling me a disgrace. Sometimes the best revenge isn't screaming or fighting back. Sometimes it's walking away and never turning around.